My pen was today again, it's not working. Okay. Okay. Yeah, not a problem. Sure. Well, now it's fine. You can go ahead. Okay, sure. Like in most, shall we start this? Okay. Coming to schedule line category, as we already discussed in order type and item category, schedule line is the third thing in the document structure. First is header data, item data, and schedule line data. In schedule line data, like it consists of the delivery dates and confirmed quantities. And schedule line data will be controlled by schedule line category. The table for schedule line is VBEP. Try to write it here, but it's not allowing it right. Text. Okay, it's VBEP and T code viewer V6. Okay, there are certain scheduling categories I already listed here, but for most of the thing it would be used to CP or CN with MRP and without MRP. Okay, but here we will be using without MRP. Why? Because we don't have the other configurations from other consultants. No, we will be using the CN, no MRP. Okay, we'll see all these controls here. The first control is delivery block. See, let's see. We've seen this delivery block earlier also. So item category. Okay. So what happens is, if you maintain delivery block here, then this is applicable to only that particular schedule line. Suppose say one item can be having two schedule lines. See, suppose I maintain it at item category level, then it will block complete item. Okay, but suppose say in a delivery document there can be two schedule lines for one single item. If I maintain a delivery block here, that is applicable to on that particular schedule line. Okay, and the same things you can see here also, credit limits, political reasons, the same controls we have seen there. Okay. Yes, actually that happens in the real-time business. Why? Because in business they would, okay. No, that won't happen. Block. Not the entire item, only that particular schedule line. You are talking, okay, this category, right? For a particular schedule line data. Like see, what happens is the items in sales order becomes the schedule lines in the delivery. Okay, suppose say there can be a split in the quantities, like say if I place 100 and there is 50 and 50 separately confirmed. Okay, so what happens is, why I split this, because of I don't have the material. First I will deliver 50 and next is 50. So first one, it will not take the MRP. No MRP. The schedule line for that would be CP. The second one, it will take as CN. Why? Because there CP. First one would be CN. Why? Because the stock is available and don't want to transfer the MRP. For second 50, it would be CP. Why? Because it needs the MRP. Okay. So if I block CP, then CP will be blocked. If I block CN, then CN will be blocked, and other 50 would be delivered. Yes. No, if the material is not available, then it will start running MRP for the quantity which is not available. For available quantity, it will confirm the schedule line quantity and date, delivery date. Okay, which can be delivered immediately. Okay, if not, I'll check F1 here once. Yeah, yeah. Beautiful. Item category. System applies automatically during processing. You can specify delivery block for any of the following: document type, delivery type, okay, shipping activity such as picking and goods issue. You can specify delivery block, for example, for all free of charge deliveries. Need to be approved before further processing can take place. Okay. Can I close this? Yeah. Material. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. Same schedule line. Okay. Uh, no, see what happens. If you want to block the entire item, we'll do it in item category, not at schedule line. Yeah, yeah, understood. In fact, I'll just go through that and let you know back this thing. But this block is applicable to particular schedule line data. Okay. And moment type, this is more important actually in the complete screen. Moment type, why? Because complete schedule line works on moment type. And moment types is also used in module also for the inbound deliveries. SD used for outbound deliveries, and uses for inbound deliveries, like 101 goods receipt, reversal of goods repeat. Like this one we will be using in MyGo, 101 goods receipt. Reverse. Yes. And they also have item categories. And most confirmation or configuration? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, but what happens is in the internal also they will be having some goods movement from plant to depot. Okay, and within the plant. Okay, so So MM also would be having these schedule lines, but we will not be using only 101. We will see in a complete project, that is goods receipt, when the MIGO is done. Okay. So when this movement type generates actually is after placing the order, then next is the delivery and next is the invoice. Okay. So when delivery is done, what we'll do is either we will do PGI. If it's a return delivery, we will do PGR, that is post goods receipt. Right. So movement type will generate when we do PGI or PGR. Okay, that triggers the movement type, and movement type controls a few things. Yeah, movement type has different effects. That is, it specifies from where the goods are moving, and it will update the stock. That is outbound or inbound. If it is outbound, from where the stock is moving. Suppose say you take movement type in consignment. Okay, in consignment fill up, stock is moving from unregistered stock to consignment stock. Okay, so this movement type specifies from where the stock is moving and from where it's going, and it also controls to whether to generate the inventory accounting document or not. Okay, in consignment returns, we are adding the stock back from the consignment service agent to the consignment stock. So we are receiving our own stock, so we don't have any accounting document generated there. Okay, so different movement types I have listed here with the effects and with this accounting entries also. Like this is the standard movement type 601, which is used for the outbound deliveries, and it has the effect that the stock would be reduced from only unrestricted stock. An inventory document, cost of goods sold account debit to inventory account credit. So next is returns. Returns is different from PGR. Okay, so this is 651. Like this, what it will do is you see this schedule and DN. This DN and this schedule and 651 will add this stock to damaged stock. What are the stock we take back? Returns. Okay, it will add to the return stock, damaged stock, and inventory accounting will not be generated. Why? Because we had companies received their own goods back. Okay, see, after receiving the stock, there should be something done, like say they need to either again send that stock to quality inspection, or they need to send the stock back to different stages to again certify the stock for sales. Okay, so quality inspection stock is 655, and if you want that stock again added to unrestricted stock, that is 653. Okay, and the same, like say you received the stock first in the returns, and you want to, the stock is expired and it is not eligible for sale, then we'll assign it to the block stock. We have seen this all things in the OVA8 earlier, OVZ8 in availability check screen. Consider block stock, consider return stock. Yes. Check boxes. If when we check that, then only these get activated. Okay. So reverse PGI is 602. 601 is for PGI. Okay, so we are taking stock back, and this would be added back to the unrestricted stock. This is saleable stock. Returns is the stock which either can be damaged or expired, or it can be anything. But this stock which we take return through reverse PGI is it can be an over delivery to the customer, or customer cancelled the order. So the reason we add that stock immediately to the unrestricted stock, so that quantity can be available for further sales. Okay. Next is consignment fill up 631. That is, stock would be reduced from unrestricted stock, and stock will be added to consignment stock. And here accounting entry will not be generated, but even though stock is moving from out of the unrestricted stock, accounting entry will not be generated because we are only dumping the stock at the consignment service agent place. But we haven't transferred the ownership of the goods to the goods to from company to CSA. It's not virtual, it's a physical storage location, but what happens is consignment service agent CSA is only a middleman between the customer and the company. It's like a dealer, something. So dealer will not have right on the product. Either company will have or the end customer will have the ownership on the product. So, but we are placing the stock at the CSA place. So as it is not sold yet, and this guy did not have any ownership on this, that's the reason accounting document is not generated. When the accounting document will generate is when we do consignment issue. That means we are selling the goods to end customer. So the ownership from the company to end customer is transferred. So at that time, cost of goods sold account debit to inventory account credit. Okay. Actually, we will create it as a plant or depot, the CSA. Why? Because without an excise invoice, we cannot move the goods out of the plant. So, and we are not selling these goods to anyone. So what we will do is we will raise a pro forma invoice and move the goods out of the premises. Why? Because if we show them as a customer, that means a saleable commercial invoice. So we will create the CSA location as a plant or depot which belong to the company, and we will do STO for that, stock transport order. Okay. So next is consignment returns. Like I have mentioned everything here. Okay, for stock point transfer, what is the movement types and how the process goes on. Like I guess you can easily go through these things, you can understand it. What is one step, what is two step, everything I have covered here. Okay, so we'll move to next field. So next one is item relevant for delivery. You have seen this in item category also. Item relevant for delivery. Okay. So like this field controls whether the item relevant for delivery or not. Like why? Because you check there in that, but in schedule line also we need to maintain that relevance for delivery for the item. Okay. Like we have as we discussed, like this field is already there in the item category. Okay, like but that field is only relevant for the text item and value item. We want the text item and value item to be relevant for delivery. That is item specific, which we have in the item category. Okay. Like see, item for this is for, suppose we want to deliver the goods, but we don't want to reduce the stock. In consignment, in some scenarios this happens actually. We'll yeah. Okay, then we will go with this actually. See what happens in item category, there will be an accounting document generated when we do PGA, right? Okay, that means the stock would be changing there. Okay, but in some scenarios what happens is we want to deliver the goods, like say in the consignment fill up, the first process. We are delivering the goods, but we don't want to reduce the stock until we sell the goods. Okay, so in that cases, for only few item categories, this would be having relevant for item category, not for the all item categories. Okay, so next one is yeah, yeah. Yes. Okay. Actually, the schedule line allowed, as we already discussed yesterday, it's only for only few item categories because that is only for text item and value item, I guess. Okay. Why? Because they need to have some schedule line to deliver. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Some can be a service item which doesn't have need any delivery and which doesn't need a schedule line also. Okay. Okay. Item has a schedule line but not relevant for delivery. Mm, yes. Yeah. Uh, Actually, I'm not getting when it done, but this is actually mostly used for service. When see if we want to make a physical delivery, then we check this actually, and for service item contracts and for these particular things we don't have schedule line so that we don't deliver. Then we off that and we have a separate item category for that. Separate schedule line category for that. For that it would be unchecked actually. Okay. Like this movement type step 1 is for STO, step 1 and step 2. We will be having two movement type 641 and 647 for 641 and 647. Okay, transfer of stock in transit and transfer of stock in transit. This is for 641 is for two-step process and 642 647 647 is one-step process. Okay, we'll discuss this in STO. Actually, that is the main configuration which controls everything in the STO. Which one? Yeah, yeah, yeah. 641. Yeah, not 642, it's 647 actually for STO. 641 is for two step and 647 is one step. You can see this in the document here. This is transfer. You see this 641 for two step movement type. Okay, and 647 is for one step. receiving plant stock will be shown as in transit.
Okay.
When after they do MyGo, then only the stock would be updated.
Okay. And
Instant, like say if they deliver the stock, it shows as a stock available. And here a simple thing which to remember for what is one step, well, because this is a little confusing, 641 and 647. Okay, for one step there will not be one here, 647 actually, and for two step it is 641. Why? Because this is 641, 647 is confusing, for which it is one step and for which it is two step. Okay, so one thing you can remember here is, like I used to remember like this, for one step there will not be one. Okay, so it's not like opposite, but if when we say one step we thought of 641. Okay, but it is actually 647. So I used to remember like this, like for one step means it is not 641, something other, that is 647. So this is very much confusing actually. Okay, so the next would be order type NB. We deals a lot in the third party and STO process. Like now it looks like only this many fields or something, but in third party everything controls by these fields. Like order type NB, like this field only used majorly in third party and IPO process, and you can see the item categories for them. CS, CS, that is for TAS, third party. You see order type NB. Only this CS and CB will have these configurations, and you see here item relevant for delivery is unchecked here. Why? Because the company is not doing delivery, third party is doing the delivery. We don't have any schedule lines here. Okay, so in the same way, like for service item they would be having unchecked this. CB. See, CB again you have checked this. Why? Because individual purchase order company delivers it. Even though we procure the goods from the vendor, but company, you know why, in what scenarios they do this IPO?
no.
See, actually third party and IPO is one and same, but what happens is in third party always there is a risk that we will be losing the customers. Why? Because see, an institutional customer is such a big customer, definitely he will have his own sources, and he can get from there the goods is delivered. He can get a direct deal from them. So in that cases they do IPO. That what they do is they will procure the goods to the company from the vendor, then they do their own packing and they deliver it as a company's product. Okay, so that's the reason for CB we don't have this, CS we don't have, and for CB we have this. Okay, so I'll open CS so that you can understand better here. So order type NB. So it says purchase requisition standard. This helps actually to trigger the purchase requisition. Earlier we have seen the PO, automatic PO in item category. So if we want automatic PO to be generated, then we need to configure the ALE configuration in sales org, and we need to check create automatic PO in item category. Okay, but at the same time if you want PR to be generated, then we need to maintain NB, purchase requisition standard. It's only PO, then we don't use this. Okay, first it will convert to PR, then next to PO. If you have the third party diagram with you, you just open it, you can see very clearly in that. Yesterday which I have sent, you can see these all controls also. Okay, so order type NB, and these are the familiar interview questions actually. What triggers the purchase requisition in third party process? Okay, that's order type NB. These questions are already covered in the business process. Next is item category 5. Like this field also is used, you can find only these fields in CS, and CS you can see we don't have any availability check also. Okay, so item category 5, this is also used only for the third party and IPO process, and like what it do is just excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually it's a very bad weather here,
Wow.
so I'm not feeling well. Yeah, it's very cold, and because of that. Okay, yeah, we'll come back to IPO. Item category, like see, as I already told you, these movement types and item categories are used by MM also. But actually they would be using key in these item categories, but not automatically determining them in MM. So, like see, we want to transfer the purchase requisition details, like what are the material, quantity and everything. Okay, we want the details to be transferred from the item category item category to schedule and category. Then after we need to send them to the purchase PR. So this 5 will help to transfer this all things, like from item category to schedule and schedule and category to PR. Okay, like it would be CB. Yeah, in CB that is 0. Why? Because we are not transferring anything here. Okay, in CS we have 5. In account assignment, in this I have clearly given, I guess. I'll just show you here. So here you can see will be automatically generated in the background. So we are sending the item category information from schedule and category to PR. But because PR is automatically generated, if it's manual, we can key in what all the details we want. So when it is generating automatically, it should pull data from somewhere. So this item category 5 will help to copy the data from item category to schedule and category, and from there to purchase requisition PR. Okay. So next is account assignment category. Like this field also is majorly used only in third party actually, and for the third party it is 1, and CB IPO it is E. It is E here and it is 1 there. So these are the main controls which they will be asking in interview actually. Okay, and this account assignment category controls like whether to generate the inventory accounting document or not. Why? Because see, whenever we receive the goods, when we do MyGo, goods receipt, that means the stock should be added somewhere, and stock should be raised, quantity should be raised. Okay, but this is a third party thing which we are not manufacturing, and it is not our stock. We will be directly delivering this to the vendor, customer. So when we make it, when we receive the goods, there should not be any like changes in the stock inventory. So this actually controls, like when we do goods receipt, stock will not be updated. Okay, and next is purchase requisition delivery schedule. Like this is only used for the CB actually. You see CS it is not checked, but CB it is checked. Okay, if you go to CN or CP, So it is blank. So only for the CB we use this, that is IPO. Okay, why? Because if we check this field, the system will send the delivery dates and inform that the confirmed quantity from sales order to purchase requisition. Why? Because see, when we when we create the sales order itself, we will enter the data like material, quantity, expected delivery date. Okay.
Right.
So these all things to be copied, like as we are sending the item category details from item category schedule line and schedule line to PR. The same way this schedule line, these requirements would be transferred to PR with the help of this. Okay, and there is one very important interview question. You just find out if you can, if possible for you, like what it is. See, in third party, we are not delivering the goods. Okay, then how we will confirm the delivery date to customer? We don't have availability check in third party.
Right.
Okay, and we are not delivering the goods and vendor is delivering the goods, but how uh, customer will know the delivery date or company will know the delivery date? No, see, material is not ours, right? It is getting sourced from someone, vendor. So when you don't have when you don't have availability check, we don't have RLT also. Okay, so how you confirm this? You just make note of this and you just see how if you can answer that question. Actually, okay. Well, because that is very important interview question actually. If you say third party, this is the first question you can expect. And at the same time, what is the quantity delivered by the vendor? You don't know what is the quantity delivered by the vendor. Okay, so yes, but which controls that field? Billing quantity. Yeah. Okay. Not the delivery quantity. There is billing quantity field in copy controls. Billing relevance field is in item category. In copy controls there is billing quantity field. There it controls again that would be F and E. The controls is for Miro it is F and with shipping notification it is E. Huh? Is that correct? F and E? You can check that in the document yesterday what I have sent you. F is for confirm. F is confirm. Let me tell you how to remember those things. See, this is where actually my all trainees get placed. I'll tell you a small shortcut. Vivo V7. So Vivo V7. There is actually two fields, billing relevance and billing quantity. The first field is that document with you, the mail which I have sent you yesterday. You downloaded them.
Yes.
Can you open the third party on that? Because actually to open a copy control it will take at least 5 minutes in my system. If if not I can open it immediately. See, third party with shipping notification, so billing relevance is F, right? You can see the control. E and billing relevance is G. Right? And you see without shipping notification, that is Myro, that is billing relevance is F and billing quantity is F. Right? Yeah, see, you know how to remember this. See, for Myro, both would be F and F. And for this, it would be E and G. See, why? Because billing relevance field come first and billing quantity field come next. And E comes first, then G. Okay? So, you need not confuse. If you can remember E and G, that is enough. You cannot be no need to confuse or something. Why? Because E is first and G is next. So billing relevance is first and billing quantity is next. But with Myro it is F. For both it is F. Okay. So make use of these some tips. It will reduce lot of efforts for you. Okay, we'll go back here. You see this billing relevance, actually it's in item category. Okay. Okay, so account assignment category, this will help to whether to generate the accounting document or not. Okay, in standard generally the accounting inventory document would be generated. Okay, so next is purchase requisition delivery, we have seen this. And next is transaction flow. See, these three requirement assembly is only for the configurable materials, variant configuration. Only in variant configuration we will check this requirement and assembly. Okay, and sort of requirement to MRP. Yeah, and this availability check, and see we can on and off this availability check and production from requirement class. We have seen earlier. Okay, see that is global one actually. If you check there, it would, where all the availability check is there, it would be activated all the places. That is from global thing. So this is the same thing like product allocation, availability check and product allocation. We already seen like whether to reserve the products or not. Okay, the only difference between the CP and CN, like both are considered as same actually. Okay, like for one it is like availability check is checked, and for one it is available CP. You see CP, availability check, and these are checked. That means to, yeah, that means to run MRP. And CN no determination, that means MRP should be must. With basing upon the MRP only we can further process all the things, that is manufacture the goods, create an order, whatever it is. Okay, but no MRP you don't have these all things. Okay, so this is schedule and category, and we'll see schedule and determination. Wi-Fi. Next, as we already discussed, how a scheduler determines, like item category plus the MRP type determines the schedule and category. Okay, like suppose say if it is TAN plus PD. PD we maintained in Metal Master. I'll show you here. TAM plus PD, that means planning with MRP. That determines CN, CP, and it also have a manual category, that's CN, that is no MRP. Okay, in the same way, TAM and ND, there is no planning, it determines CN, there is no MRP. Okay, these are almost these configurations will be there in the system, the basic thing. Okay, so we need not to do much for this actually, only to just check like how it is. So in general what happens is, to determine the scheduling category, system first checks the item category plus MRP. Okay, and it determines the schedule line category. Then after, like, it checks the item category to determine the schedule line categories if MRP is not available. Okay, so we finished schedule and category. There is only these configurations which you need to remember, and schedule and category is much used in, why? Because if for general standard items and these items, it is already standard configured. You will have all these things, but the controls would be changed only for third party and IPO. VO, V4. So like order type NB, item category 5, account assignment category 1. Okay, so these are more important. And if someone asks like how to generate an PR, or how the sales order information is copied into the schedule line. Okay, you have questions also on that, I have already given in the document. Okay, so next is let's see, if it is important, then and there itself I have mentioned with highlights. Okay, that